we haven't fought. Imagine that. They gotta lie. They gotta lie. They gotta lie all the time. They can't even believe their own lie. You can't even believe your own lie.
I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Teo his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy.
You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it.
At the press conference, Teofimo Lopez delivered a harsh warning to Shakur Stevenson, making it clear he plans to punish him inside the ring. He stated that even if he is viewed as the underdog, he will prove exactly what he is capable of. Lopez emphasized that underestimating him is a serious mistake and promised a dominant performance that will leave no doubts about his skill, power, and determination.
Yeah. I'm gonna beat him up. I'm gonna beat him up.
And we know at one point you contemplated retirement. Seems like you're in a good place now. You're active. Where are you at right now? Where are you feeling about your career?
Mentally, I'm in the Bahamas somewhere.
Lopez displays fierce determination ahead of his fight with Shakur Stevenson. Confident and focused, he declares he will dominate in the ring, ready to showcase his skill, power, and strategy. Lopez's mindset is clear. He is fully committed to victory and leaving no doubt about his abilities.
Yes. Shakur Stevenson, obviously you guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this. And I'm not taking nothing from him. But I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for
Teofimo Lopez makes it clear that he will not let Shakur Stevenson claim the belt he has worked so hard to earn. He highlights the sacrifices behind his success, explaining that the title represents years of struggle, pain, and dedication. For Lopez, this fight is about defending what he built through hard work and perseverance. He has full confidence in himself and is determined to protect his position in the ring. Lopez sees this moment as personal, fueled by pride and effort, insisting that no one can take away what he earned through blood, discipline, and commitment.
So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds. If it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight, and that'll make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Teo is going to bring anything late in the game, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight, you know what I mean, where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with, you know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but
Aoya breaks down the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez fight, suggesting it is likely to go the full 12 rounds. He explains that the first 6 rounds could shape the outcome, noting that Stevenson may not start aggressively, preferring to fight off the back foot and gauge Lopez's approach. If Lopez dominates or convincingly wins the early rounds, it could force Stevenson to adjust his strategy in the later half, making the fight more competitive. Lopez is seen as a front-runner, relying on early energy and explosiveness, and Aoya questions whether he can maintain that intensity throughout. If Stevenson feels he has lost the initial rounds, he may be forced to open up later, setting the stage for an intense finish and potentially close championship rounds. Conversely, if Lopez drops the first few rounds, Stevenson could cruise to a comfortable unanimous decision. This analysis highlights the strategic chess match between the fighters, where timing, energy management, and round-by-round execution will be key to victory.
You know, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth, and then saying, I want to fight him. It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now, and I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro, so it's like I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Teo his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy, like he like doing things hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool, so it kind of made me want to get in a ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's gonna have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against the ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like...
Shakur Stevenson shares that his motivation comes from a deep competitive spirit, always seeking the toughest challenges in the sport. Watching Teofimo Lopez's previous performances, Stevenson was struck by his confident, flashy style, which reminded him of a young Roy, inspiring a strong desire to test himself against such skill. He sees this upcoming fight as a vital opportunity to measure his abilities against an elite opponent while adapting to new strategies. Reflecting on his earlier bout with William Ada, Stevenson acknowledges it was unconventional and demanding, yet it proved invaluable for his growth, showing he could thrive under pressure and adversity. He learned that fighters who apply constant pressure are meant to challenge him, but he successfully managed that style, reinforcing his confidence. Now facing Lopez, Stevenson feels well prepared to handle the speed, power, and unpredictability of a top-tier opponent. His focus, adaptability, and accumulated experience give him confidence that he can navigate the fight intelligently, turning it into a true test of his skills, mental fortitude, and readiness to compete at the highest level of the sport.
Garden. We've both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. This is one of the best fights that can be made, and putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teofimo Lopez kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teofimo a little bit when you look at the strategy? Yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever been around.
Mercurial, we could say. Yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, He's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks. And it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering, going back and forth, saying like, he reps Brooklyn, but There's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulies, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him, man.
But I'll tell you what. There's so many thoughts in my head with this situation because Teofimo is at his most dangerous.
Chris Algieri weighs in on the significance of the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez fight, highlighting its importance for the sport. He supports matchups where top fighters face each other, taking risks regardless of potential losses, noting that a setback doesn't diminish a fighter's elite status. Algieri believes this fight exemplifies that philosophy, representing a high-level clash rather than a non-stop punch brawl. The technical skill and strategy on display will keep fans on the edge of their seats, emphasizing quality over sheer volume. He notes that a victory for Stevenson would cement his position among the top 5 to 7 pound 4 pound fighters, though many argue he already deserves that recognition. Algieri frames the fight as a throwback to legendary matchups between the best in a weight class, underscoring the drama, skill, and history such contests carry. The anticipation and tactical intrigue mirror classic encounters, proving that high-level boxing remains as thrilling and meaningful as ever.
He has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? You know, we've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Teo get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying? We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his 2 biggest wins, he was an underdog. Then both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see just because southpaw that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So. Yeah, other than that, bro, it's going to be a pretty tough night for Teofimo Lopez.
Bruce Carrington analyzes Teofimo Lopez's upcoming bout with Shakur Stevenson, highlighting a key vulnerability in Lopez's approach: difficulty handling dynamic movement. Despite his natural athleticism and heavy-hitting power, Lopez may struggle to adjust when facing an opponent who constantly changes angles and maintains disciplined spacing. Carrington emphasizes that Stevenson's composure and tactical awareness could exploit this weakness, forcing Lopez to overcommit or miss opportunities. By controlling distance and pacing, Stevenson can make Lopez fight on his terms rather than imposing his own style. Carrington also notes that while Lopez thrives in explosive bursts and aggressive exchanges, his reliance on raw power can backfire against a patient, mobile fighter. Stevenson's defensive intelligence and ability to reset after each combination may frustrate Lopez, limiting his effectiveness and draining his energy over the rounds. Ultimately, Carrington suggests that Lopez must adapt his movement and exercise patience if he hopes to overcome Stevenson's technical proficiency. The analysis portrays a fight where skillful footwork, timing, and ring awareness could tip the balance, showing that athleticism alone may not suffice against a highly disciplined and intelligent opponent.
Sure. I mean, look, like you said, the first thing you said was bluffing McMuffin, right? So you don't think that he's going to do that. Let's just say that's the case. Let's say he wins this fight, but he doesn't win this fight. Whatever happens.
Right, because we made a statement after he said, last year, I'm going to go back down to 35. So which one is it, man? He kind of 6'7" with...
No, there you go.
Come on, which one is it?
So let's talk about 140 then, because obviously there's other champions there. One who you've been going back and forth with recently online, one that you have history with. And you got other guys, Subriel there, somebody else you had history, Richardson Hitchens. What's the route for you going forward after your next fight?
After my next fight, unify. I've always let it be known. I want to be undisputed in my division. I want to unify. Anybody who got a title at the time, that's what I need to see next. After my next up-and-coming fight.
Gary, just talk about, obviously your division is hot right now. This fight, your fight coming up, you know, maybe one of the biggest ones in Teofimo versus Shakur. Just looking at that fight stylistically, how does it play out in the ring?
It's 50-50. You know, in order for you to participate in this sport, you gotta have a high level of confidence. I feel like both of them has a high level of confidence. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but styles make fights. Naturally, I think Teofimo Lopez is stronger than Shakur. Naturally, I think he has more athleticism than Shakur, and he got a good IQ on the sport itself. But Shakur, I feel like he's a more smarter fighter. He's a more technical fighter. You know, I'm not saying that he's a square or he's just a textbook fighter, but he's seasoned, he's poised. I feel like mentally he's more mature. Like, he don't go outside of the boundaries on...
Gary Antoine Russell provides a detailed perspective on Teofimo Lopez, focusing on a specific version of the fighter rather than generalizing his abilities. He references Lopez's bout with Vasily Lomachenko as a model, illustrating how Lopez excels when combining aggression with control. Russell emphasizes that Lopez's success relies on maintaining composure while applying relentless pressure, forcing opponents into uncomfortable positions and minimizing openings for counters. This balance of intensity and discipline makes him extremely difficult to face. According to Russell, when Lopez fully commits to his game plan, pushing the pace, leveraging his athleticism, and capitalizing on timing, he can dominate rounds and keep even elite fighters on the defensive.
Oh, he's a born fighter. He's a careful fighter. And I feel like with Teofimo Lopez, he's going to be a careful fighter. Now, just because he's a careful fighter doesn't mean that he isn't punctual with how he do things. I think Shakur, he got a lot of this arsenal that he can use to make him be victorious as well as Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So it's a 50-50 fight, and it depends on what fighters show up the night of the fight. Right. You know? But if I had to give you my whole honest truth, if Teofimo Lopez show up and is ready to fight just like how he fought Lomachenko,